Right now on News 3, a turbulent day continues at the state capitol as lawmakers discuss a series of controversial bills.
Plus, how a local group is hoping to bring music equity front and center and how they're getting the city council involved.
And later, a beloved Madison park is undergoing some renovations. Why some locals say they are not happy with what's being done.
This is News 3 at 10.
Thank you for joining us tonight. It is a late night at the state capitol as lawmakers are set to pass a set of GOP bills that would strip incoming Democrats of their powers.
But it's still unclear whether that will actually happen. Rose Schmidt spent the day at the state capitol, and she joins us live there with the very latest. Rose?
That's right. It's been a night filled with waiting and delays. The state assembly was originally scheduled to start on the floor at 1 p.m. today, but now 9 hours later, that still has yet to happen. They still have yet to start, but we are told that it might happen soon. It's still unclear tonight whether or not Republicans in the two houses have struck a deal yet. The Senate passed a transportation measure, one out of 3 of these lame duck session bills, but the fate of a bill that would weaken the powers of Tony Evers and Josh Kaul is still unclear. In a pair of joint news conferences this afternoon, Democrats argued the Republicans are ignoring the results of the midterm elections, while GOP leaders say they won't let Tony Evers' quote liberal agenda take them backward.
We did have an election. Whether everyone here likes it or not, I respect the fact that Tony Evers is the governor and he's going to be starting on January 7th. But he's not the governor today.
The actions that are taken today that are before us will override the will of the people, which were decided on November 6th of this year with the statewide election of Governor Tony Evers and Attorney General Josh Kaul.
Democrats have said they will consider legal action if these proposals are passed, to which Speaker Voss says that is within their power to do so. Voss also told us earlier that he is confident that all 3 of these bills will pass the full legislature tonight, but with the assembly still yet to start and the Senate in recess for several hours tonight, we could be here into the wee hours of the morning.
We appreciate Rose's long hours. Rose Schmidt live at the Capitol tonight. Rose, thank you.
Governor-elect Tony Evers says Democrats are doing everything they can to keep these bills from passing, but admittedly says if they pass the Assembly and Senate, it is unlikely the governor will veto it. Evers was on CNN this evening. Here's what he had to say.
Apparently they've been working on this for months, so apparently they must have thought Scott Walker was going to lose because clearly if Scott Walker would have won, we wouldn't be talking tonight about it. It's all about...
Evers called this lame duck session an embarrassment for the state of Wisconsin.
The governor of the state of Wisconsin, Scott Walker.
Merry Christmas.
During the annual Capitol Christmas tree lighting event today, Governor Walker was greeted by loud boos on what should have been a festive event. Dozens of protesters were in the rotunda, some holding signs in opposition to the lame duck session. Some of their shouts drowned out a high school choir that was performing during the ceremony. Walker later tweeted that he can handle the shouts, but leave the kids alone. New tonight, Special Counsel Robert Mueller says he is not seeking prison time for former Trump National Security Advisor Michael Flynn because of his, quote, substantial assistance in the Russia meddling investigation. Documents show Flynn has sat for 19 interviews with the special counsel and the Justice Department.
The nation continues to pay tribute to President George H.W. Bush, who's lying in state at the U.S. Capitol. The Bush family made a surprise visit to the Capitol today, shaking hands, offering hugs, and thanking Americans who came to memorialize the late 41st president. Earlier in the day, former Senate Majority Leader Bob Dole was helped to his feet to stand and salute the late president, both men World War II veterans. Tomorrow, President Trump will gather with the Bush family at the National Cathedral for a memorial service. Another funeral service will take place in Houston on Thursday, followed by private burial at the Bush Presidential Library. The United States Post Office will be closed tomorrow. President Trump has declared tomorrow a national day of mourning in honor of the late President Bush. Other federal offices will also be closed, along with the U.S. financial markets. In Madison, Bishop Robert Morlino was laid to rest today, served as Bishop of the Diocese of Madison for 15 years. Not surprising that his funeral mass was full today. Bishop Morlino suffered a cardiac event right before Thanksgiving and died the following Saturday. His body laid to rest in a mausoleum at Resurrection Cemetery. A local group is calling attention to the Madison hip-hop scene, or rather, the lack thereof.
Members of the group say some venues are avoiding booking artists in this genre as part of a greater issue of inequality in the area. They presented their argument to City Council tonight. Amy Reed joins us now to explain what this group is hoping to see happen. Amy?
Yeah, it may not be the first thing that you'd expect on a City Council agenda, but this goes far beyond just one genre of music. This group is saying this inequity unfairly targets people of color, hitting on hip-hop, transportation, and simply the use of city government.
But in the capitalist district, they only limit us to fail.
Whether you've seen it or not,
Down living material escapism.
the Madison hip-hop scene is alive.
Racism, Lord help us, because this has got to get better.
But it's not well, at least according to a new report 10 years in the making.
At least from an arts perspective, hip-hop didn't really feel included in the arts scene.
That's Rob Franklin. You might have recognized him from those music videos. He's one of the leaders behind this report, outlining inequity in Madison that goes beyond music.
Hip-hop is used in quotation marks, and I think when that is used, I think that's a way of substituting it for another thing. Like a masterpiece that's up in the halls.
They address the misplaced stereotype this genre's concerts have for being violent and how it's blocked artists from local venues. And with hip-hop as an example, they get into other issues, lack of late-night public transportation or understanding of how to book city resources like parks and public venues.
I don't say this to be mean, but a lot of times Madison gives lip service. They want to say that everything is okay and everything is cool and everything is grand. And it's like, for a lot of people, it's not.
In the report, they call for solutions to fix those, namely a position within the mayor's office to specifically address equity in arts and entertainment.
This is an issue that really increases people's quality of life. This is an issue that increases people's ability to express themselves. Hip-hop started on the streets and by people who didn't have a way to express themselves and tell their stories any other way.
They're hoping to preserve that, and though both of them have made waves in their own careers, they're calling on the city to help create a larger conversation.
We need to start having this dialogue and these conversations, and that's what the report is a start to have these conversations so we can start finding solutions together.
This was the first introduction at City Council tonight, and we'll put the full report on our website for those of you that are interested in reading it.
Amy Reed in the News Center tonight. Amy, thank you.
Let's turn it over to meteorologist Dave Caulfield, who joins us now with his first alert forecast. Dave?
Well, Eric, it is pretty quiet outside across southern Wisconsin. We do have still a few snowflakes falling to the ground. A couple of those flurries still surviving across the area, but really nothing that we need to worry about or will impact us into the start of Wednesday. The cold will definitely impact us, and it is remaining cold outside in downtown Madison on the Edgewater Skycam. Mostly cloudy skies, 24 degrees, a few light snow showers falling at the airport. West-northwest wind at 8 miles per hour, making it feel more like 15 degrees. Right now in Mad City. 28 in Janesville, 25 in Watertown. A cold spot is Viroqua right now at 20 degrees. But with that wind chill, not too much of a westerly wind. However, still feeling like 14 in Platteville and 12 in Monroe. Temperatures and winds over the next 12 hours will be bottoming out in the upper teens to start Wednesday. Then we'll move through the 20s once again. Highs should reach about 30 degrees on Wednesday. The clouds may leave us just for a short period of time, a little bit by the afternoon, but they'll be back with a chance of some additional flurries later on Wednesday. We'll talk more about that, plus a sunny stretch of weather on the way in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
Dave, thank you. UW-Madison is proposing to increase tuition for certain students. The plan announced today would raise non-resident and international undergraduate tuition by $810 and $828 over the next 2 academic years. However, the increase does not apply to Minnesota students. Based on current enrollment, the plan would generate about $16 million. The UW Board of Regents will consider the plan at their meeting this week in La Crosse.
The Sauk County Board Committee is postponing a decision on an anti-hate resolution.
It is in response to the controversial photo that went viral last month. The purpose of the resolution was to say the Baraboo community opposes intolerance and discrimination and supports diversity and equal opportunities. The proposal will be discussed again during a meeting in January.
A judge has ordered a competency exam of the man suspected of trying to buy radioactive material. According to a criminal complaint, 30-year-old Jeremy Ryan of the town of Madison tried to buy that material from an undercover FBI agent online in an effort to kill an unnamed man. Today, a judge ordered there be a psychiatric evaluation to determine if he is competent to stand trial. City of Madison is looking to make some upgrades to a beloved park, but some are frustrated with possible changes.
Our Keely Arthur brings a closer look at the proposal.
We've all heard the old adage, they paved paradise to put up a parking lot, and some locals fear that's exactly what could happen right here at James Madison Park.
This winter, Jackie Siska and other Tenny Lapham neighborhood residents are fighting for a place that so many Madisonians find so special in the summer.
Well, it's an iconic city park. It's a beautiful space. It's a green space in the middle of an urban area.
She fears her city oasis could go away as a new city plan makes way for big changes to the park. Under the redesign of James Madison Park, which is estimated to cost between $10 million and $20 million, park goers would see a new playground, basketball and volleyball courts, shelter, and arguably the most controversial change, a new, larger parking lot that would be more centrally located.
The loss of green space is just unimaginable for this type of setting. I mean, this is supposed to be a park, not a parking lot.
City officials say while the amount of contiguous green space will grow by a couple hundred square feet, the parking lot will have more pavement despite the same number, 34 stalls. They say the move is to make access easier and the parking lot more visible in an effort to cut down on crime.
No one likes to have a parking lot within the park property. As a landscape architect, I value the environment and know this is not something that we're real big proponents of, but we're also trying to make sure that the entire community has access to the great amenities in James Madison Park.
Leaders at the City Parks Department say these changes reflect 20,000 pieces of public input, including focus groups, mail-in, and online surveys. Siska's input? Make sure the only things to change so drastically at James Madison Park are the seasons.
Really, we have something that's really great right now, and we just want to continue to have that space.
In Madison, Keely Arthur, WISC News 3.
The City Board of Park Commissioners will vote on a final design next Wednesday, December 12th, at the Warner Park Community Recreation Center.
By the way, that meeting is open to the public. Still ahead tonight at 10, additional flights out of Madison to a pair of popular destinations.
And an Illinois company is moving north to Wisconsin, bringing dozens of jobs with it. A closer look when we come back. The Dow dropped nearly 800 points today, its worst day since October 10th when it lost 832 points. The market is reassessing what came out of the meeting between President Trump and China's President Xi in Argentina. There is growing doubt that the ongoing trade war between the two countries will end anytime soon.
Nation's largest beef processor, JBS Tolleson, has expanded a recall on its raw meat products to include more than 12 million pounds of beef. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food Safety and Inspection Service announced today the items, including ground beef, could be contaminated with salmonella. More than 80 jobs will be coming to southern Wisconsin.
This comes after door manufacturer Seal Right says they'll be moving their operations from Rockford to Beloit. The announcement was made today in front of city and county leaders. WISC will be giving Seal Right up to $250,000 in tax breaks to make the move. Work is expected to start at the plant in February. The UW-Madison Police Department is collecting toys for kids. Today, officers and staff gave free coffee and donuts to anyone making a donation as part of Toys for Tots. New and unwrapped toys are needed. UWPD will continue to collect donations. All you have to do is stop by their lobby to drop off a toy anytime.
Dane County Regional Airport says Frontier Airlines is adding additional flights to a pair of popular destinations as demand continues to rise. Starting next month, Frontier says it will now have 4 flights a week to Las Vegas and Orlando. Those flights will now depart from Madison on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. And a Beatle making another trip to Wisconsin. Paul McCartney will now perform at Lambeau Field this summer, part of his Freshen Up tour. The Packers and Live Nation announced that June 8th concert today. It'll be McCartney's first ever concert in Green Bay.
It is kind of fitting, in our 100th season, where we're really looking back and celebrating the history of the Packers. There's no question. I think this will be a memorable evening.
And we mentioned another trip to Wisconsin. That's because McCartney will be performing in Madison 2 nights earlier, June 6th at the Kohl Center. Tickets will go on sale December 10th for the Green Bay concert. That is next Monday at 10 a.m.
Meteorologist Dave Caulfield joins us now with a look at our cold forecast. Hi,
yeah,
Dave.
Charlotte and Eric, maybe I'm amazed by this colder than normal weather. I've really been amazed by the amount of cloud cover that we've been seeing over the past week and a half. Not really too amazed by the snow flurries that we've been dealing with basically all day. A little bit more robust activity to the south and west and also just to the plain south of us, but still a couple snowflakes out there across southern Wisconsin. Nothing that we need to worry about or that will impact us overnight into the start of Wednesday. High temperatures today, 28 in Madison, 30, one of the lucky spots in Janesville, Boscobel and Prairie du Chien also coming in at 30 degrees, 29 in Lone Rock. Our time lapse in Madison, I was doing some digging with our climate data from the end of November and the start of this month of December. And Madison doesn't do percent sunshine necessarily, but the National Weather Service in Milwaukee does tell us if a particular day was cloudy, partly cloudy, or clear. And we've been dealing with cloudy days the past 10 straight days. And I think we could take that up to 11 for tomorrow. But I do think there is some hope in our future and on the horizon as well. A live look on the horizon in Madison. WISC-TV Skycam still with those mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures are in the mid-20s in Madison and in Lone Rock, 22, and the Dells 28 still in Janesville with a little bit of a westerly wind. It does feel like the teens in many spots, save Janesville, one of the warmer areas tonight. Our high temperature trend, boy, we are staying below normal into the end of this week. This weekend, another shot of reinforcing cold air comes in right in time for Friday, where we barely get into the 20s for highs. But I do think by the time we get to the middle of next week, some slightly warmer than average air does come into town. A cold front will come into town tomorrow and overnight Wednesday into early Thursday. A couple of flurries, maybe a light snow shower or two come our way. Nothing accumulating from that. High pressure then settles in and keeps us very chilly. However, it also keeps a lot of the clouds and storms away. So that's when we can cash in on some well-deserved sunshine to southern Wisconsin, really from Friday into the weekend into next week. Overnight, mostly cloudy and cold, temperatures in the teens for tomorrow. Some sun, but really we're looking at another mostly cloudy day, continued cold with temperatures near 30. So we're continuing to fall through the 20s into the teens to start Wednesday. Then more clouds, maybe a little bit of sunshine in the afternoon, but I wouldn't hold our breath on that. A few flurries do come through late on Wednesday into Thursday. A few more flurries could come our way on Thursday as well. But really, we're looking at that sunshine coming back for Friday through Tuesday. Temperatures staying in the 20s. Then into next week, we're in the 30s for highs. And our next kind of robust system, maybe some rain and snow showers, arrives by the time we get to next Wednesday and Thursday.
All right, Dave, thank you.
Barry Alvarez and Paul Christ hit the Big Apple to get their first look at the Pinstripe Bowl. We'll hear from them in sports.
This is
By the end of the season, the Badger women's basketball team will have played a game on every day of the week. Tonight, it's the second Tuesday game of the season as the Marshall Thundering Herd come to the Kohl Center. Here's a nice inbounds play for the Badgers. It goes to Verona's Alex Luring, who swings it to Zen Gilreath, and Gilreath hits one of her 4 3-point shots tonight. 12 points in the game. Second half, for some reason, the Badgers' Kelly Carlos is all alone, and that's a gift 3 for Carlos, who also leads the Badgers with 12 points. Your final score, Wisconsin 67, Marshall 49. Badgers now 7-2 in the season. Saturday afternoon, they'll travel to Green Bay to play the Phoenix at 1 o'clock. The Badger men's basketball team is 7-1 overall, 2-0 in the Big Ten after last night's 69-64 win over Rutgers at the Kohl Center. Next up, the Badgers at Marquette Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock at Fiserv Forum. Tonight, the Golden Eagles warm up for Saturday, hosting UTEP. Marquette has 2 Hausers this year. Sam is now a junior, and his younger brother Joey is a freshman. Joey gets a big bucket late. Wasn't as easy as you might think, but Marquette wins 76-69. The Golden Eagles are now 7-2 this season. Badger volleyball hits the road for the NCAA Regional in Champaign, Illinois. The matches start Friday. It's kind of an odd schedule. Marquette in Illinois at 11 a.m. Friday, then Wisconsin and San Diego about 1:30 in the afternoon Friday. The Badgers play Illinois at Huff Hall every year, so having that familiarity can't hurt.
You know, and the venue is fantastic. It's a great place to play because it's tight. You know, the fans are kind of right on top of you. They kind of surround you a little bit. Maybe a little bit too much orange in the building, but it's a great place to play. It's a great place to watch.
Barry Alvarez and Paul Christ in New York City to look ahead to the Badgers matchup against Miami in Yankee Stadium December 27th. This is the trophy they'll play for 2 days after Christmas in the Pinstripe Bowl. No guarantee the weather will be warm and sunny, but playing a football game in iconic Yankee Stadium, well, Alvarez says that's pretty neat.
To be able to come back to New York and experience New York, we all know the class that the Yankees have exuded and what they represent.
New York is that city that everyone, you see it in the movies, and you feel like you've been here even though you haven't. And so we're excited for all the different things that come with being able to play in it.
They've played in big bowl games. They've been on, the New Year's Six. They've been in the Rose Bowl. These players have played in a lot of different places, but this will be special for them.
Around noon today, Packers linebackers coach Winston Moss tweeted the Packers have to find somebody that's going to hold number 12 and everybody in the building to a Lombardi standard. Tonight, the Packers announced they parted ways with Winston Moss. Urban Meyer is retiring as Ohio State's head football coach after the Buckeyes play in the Rose Bowl. Meyer says he's leaving because of health issues. He's been dealing with a cyst on his brain that gives him headaches and can be aggravated by stress. Meyer also says he doesn't plan on coaching football again. Offensive coordinator Ryan Day will take over as Ohio State's head football coach. And we'll be right back.
And to Dave Caulfield we go. Final check of the forecast.
Another cold night overnight. Temperatures staying in the 20s. We could dip into the upper teens by the time we get to the start of Wednesday. For Wednesday, highs should make it to near 30. Mostly cloudy skies, maybe a touch of sunshine, but I think the better sunny stretch arrives as we get closer to Friday. A few flurries over the next couple of days, too.
All right, thanks for joining us.
Do something good. We'll see you tomorrow.
Now.